Hey everyone, my name is Christoph Jakob. I'm a music composer for video games. We're living in times where there's so much new Splatoon 3 music to check out. So I'd say let's jump right into the next track. As usual, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't played side order yourself yet, I recommend doing so before watching any of these videos, Alex. Today, let's listen to Cold Storage, the theme that plays during the Pinging Marciale boss fight. Such a weird naming choice, let's just call him Giant Ball Dude. Let's go! Nice bassline. Very straightforward drum group. Unlike the previous two boss themes that we checked out, the boss fight against Marina and Ech0 Onslaught, Cold Storage seems to jump directly into action without much need of an intro or build-up. Early on, this tune establishes its high tempo and also its intensity by focusing primarily on the bass and drums. The rhythm itself is honestly surprisingly simple, especially for Splatoon standards. If we're leaving out the little fills and the subtle ghost notes that appear here and there, it simply goes something like this. The bass, on the other hand, while not nearly as upfront as the drums, seems to be a little more unusual rhythmically. The bass motif is outlining a C-7 chord. A chord that goes through the entire first half of the tune. It sounds roughly like this. That is a very solid foundation for additional melodies and harmonies, which I'm expecting to hear next. This melody is already stuck in my head, to be honest. I love how there's just not a single chord change so far, but it still sounds interesting. After trying to play this melody on guitar, I noticed an interesting similarity to Ech0 Onslaught. Just like in that tune, the melody seems to actively try and avoid using the third. For those who don't know, the third is the note that specifies whether a chord is major or minor. Instead, the melody is more or less jumping around the third, oftentimes landing on the second or ninth, that's basically the same note, and the fourth respectively. The effect that this kind of melody has on the listener should be fairly obvious. Would you call this boss theme happy and joyful? Probably not. Would you call it sad and melancholic? Doesn't really fit either, right? Cold Storage sounds quite neutral in that regard. And that makes perfect sense. This isn't an overly dramatic boss fight after all. This isn't really a lore-relevant boss fight either that's trying to make you emotional. Come on, come on. No! Well, maybe it makes some people emotional. I'm not sure if there's a proper name for it, but I like that the main melody is playing this octarian leitmotif here that we've heard countless times in the single-player campaigns. Da 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 da. Right? It's basically the same as da 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 da. That's the exact same notes. Meanwhile, and I've technically already said that earlier, there has not been a single chord change so far. We're still hearing an implied C-7 chord. The bass and drums haven't really changed that much yet either. However, oh, okay, that's a surprising chord. I love how some of the chords just fall down. I honestly never noticed that in-game, but Cold Storage and Ech0 Onslaught have so many things in common. And I wouldn't be surprised if the other boss themes share these same elements as well. Just like in Ech0 Onslaught, we're getting a fairly surprising climax-like section. Similarly, and I have to admit that I had to consult a friend to figure out the full chord progression, because it's just so unusual. The chord progression here, and I mean the entire song, consists of nothing but minor chords once again. And for some reason it works, I guess? From a music theory standpoint, these chord changes don't really make that much sense. But remember that music theory isn't a set of rules whatsoever that you have to follow or stick to. It's just an attempt to put the different things that we hear into a communicable language. Every single chord of this progression is a minor 7th chord, and it should sound roughly like this. I love how some of the chords just fall down. Very consistent groove. A very consistent groove overall, I like. Hey, drum solo. Such a nice boss theme. I love this little drum solo that we're getting during this segment. Let's listen to it again. Hey, drum solo. I'm not sure if you've noticed while playing this in-game, but every boss theme seems to have 3 different variations. Phases, if you so will. While the second phase doesn't really seem to change that much at all, I think we can just skip it and move straight on to the 3rd phase. I think that's why many of you clicked on this video anyway. Isn't that right, Ash? I'm in love with these drums. There's so much intensity and energy in them. The main difference between the Phase 1 and the Phase 3 version is the addition of a modified amen break. In case you've never heard of that, I'm honestly a little bit surprised. But the amen break is the most popular and also the most sampled drum groove of all time, originating from a song called Amen Brother from 1969. Haha, nice. Why is it the most sampled drum groove of all time? I'd say probably because it sounds so awesome. There's so much intensity and energy in it. That seems to be the only major change though. Little fun fact before we end this video, this was actually the first tune that I had to look up once I finished playing Side Order myself. I just needed to listen to this tune standalone and whew, it's probably my favorite boss theme. Thanks for watching. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Follow me on my socials, join my Discord server if you haven't already. I've also written a bunch of fan-made Splatoon music myself, so if you're interested you can check that out too. Let me know down in the comments below which tune you'd like me to check out next, and I'll see you all next time.